Good morning and welcome to the Director's Cut. I'm Julie Robinson in the CPED department, and we're here at the Boone County Extension office this morning with our Arkansas Extension Director, Dr. Anderson. Good morning.
How are you, Julie?
I'm doing good.
It's been a while since we did one of these.
It's
Hope we
been a
remember
minute.
what we're
It was
doing.
last year.
What we got in our defense, we got snowed out.
We did get snowed
earlier
out
this year.
Yes. But we're here at Boone County Extension, and we've got our staff chair for Boone County, Cody Salmon. Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Thanks for letting us invade your office.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Well, so you've got a really nice office here for folks that haven't been here before. It's even just a beautiful drive into the office.
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic space. Tell us a little bit about y'all's office.
So the office was built in 2013. It was donated by the Joe and Esther Lee Patty family. They were able to build the extension center here. We've got quite a few things out here that the kids can do. There's the office. The barn was existing on the property. Farm Bureau helped the county rebuild the barn. It's still a work in progress, of course, but we do have some animals up here. Some kids live in town. They're in 4-H. They don't have a spot to put their project, so we do have that accessible for them where they can keep their projects on site here. There's a couple of the pigs that are up there now. We've got archery ranges here. We've got shooting ranges, so we can do all of the outside stuff. We have outdoor classroom space. We've got some pollinator habitats for the butterflies. We've got this experimental learning pavilion, we call it. Used to be an old milk barn that was actually on the property. It's just been repurposed for our outdoor pavilion. We've got some raised garden beds. Denise and Ashlyn are actually having some 4-H kids come this afternoon, and we're doing some planting there with different various vegetables. We've got some fruit trees, some Ponca blackberries.
But they're not in season yet. I already asked.
No,
Julie's
ma'am.
already been out checking the bushes.
No, ma'am, not yet. We've got the Arkansas Diamond Trial demo in one of the beds down there, so we've got a host of things up here that we can do.
Yeah, this is a fantastic space, and we're going to talk about some of those quilts here in a minute as far as some of the programming that y'all offer.
But you've got a great location here because you're just off the edge of town, but you've got a lot of open space and a
Yes,
lot
sir.
of room to work.
Yes, sir. We're very fortunate. We've got, I don't know if I mentioned it, but there's 40 acres here.
40 acres.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and you are just a stone's throw from the south edge of town.
Yes,
Actually,
sir.
in town, you said,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
Technically.
Yes, sir. Right on the edge.
Yeah, you just kind of drive through downtown and then y'all are here. So it's a perfect location. You got space, but you don't have to venture very far out
Yes,
of town.
ma'am.
Yeah. Well, so tell us a little bit about Boone County just in general. What kind of agriculture production, population, is it growing, shrinking, staying the same?
Yes, ma'am. Population's growing a little. A lot of outside people moving in from different parts of the country. Boone County's still mainly a cow-calf livestock production county. We do have some backyard homeowner fruit trees, vegetable production. Not a lot of commercial, mainly homeowner.
Okay,
but
gotcha. So they keep you hopping.
Yes, ma'am.
Because homeowners are very passionate
Yes,
about
ma'am.
there.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, so you're not only staff chair, but you're the ag agent.
Yes,
So tell us about your ag program.
The ag program, like we said, we focus a lot on livestock. We have done, this year we done our Beef and Forage Conference. Me and Brian C. hosted that in Marion County.
Okay.
And then we also hosted a Precision Ag Field Day here on the neighboring property beside the office. The drones are kind of a new emerging technology up here. We have 2 clients here in the county that have just recently purchased drones, so we got them up here to do a demonstration, show how they can use sprayer setups, fertilizing and seeding. So that's some of the things we've been doing here. We did an apple grafting class. Clyde Fenton
Okay, yeah.
helped do that.
Searcy County agent.
Searcy County.
Yeah.
We partnered up and paired up, and Adam Willis from Newton County. We did one up here for everyone.
Probably had good turnout for that.
It
I
was a
know
good
a lot
turnout.
of people
Good
are
program.
interested in grafting. Yeah, and it's not as easy as people think it is.
It's easy to graft. It's a little harder to make them take.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
Successfully drafted.
Well, so that's your ag program, but you've got a fantastic staff here. So tell us about your FCS and your 4-H programming.
Yes, so Ashley Edgman is our family consumer science agent. She just wrapped up a quilt workshop where she partnered with her EHC group and the Quilters group. It was 5 sessions. Each week during the month of April went over into May. There was a little over 100 participants each time. They ended up with, it was around 780. participants for the total of 5 weeks.
And you can tell by these beautiful quilts behind
Yes.
us that that's
we have a great group of quilters here.
Yeah, and obviously talented.
Yes.
One of these might disappear. I might take one home. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to vandalize your office, I promise. But they're beautiful.
They are.
Yes, ma'am.
And she's also working with Ashlyn, your
Denise is.
or Denise is. I'm
Hensley.
sorry.
Denise
sorry.
Hensley is our
Denise
4-H agent.
Okay, sorry.
And then Ashlyn Lippy is our
Okay.
4-H program
Okay.
assistant.
Yes. Sorry.
That's all good.
Okay.
And they just finished, we partnered with North Arkansas College, Youth Agriculture Day.
Mm-hmm.
They had about 175 students participate in that. I think there was 3 schools from the county came to that one.
What ages?
3rd grade.
Third grade.
3rd grade. And they just learned about all the different agricultural production in the state of Arkansas.
Yeah.
And there's 6 or 7 different stations the kids rotated through.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's exciting. And then they're also doing root to recipe.
Yes, ma'am. And they're going to be planting those plants in our raised beds this afternoon.
Okay.
They're going to start out, the kids have had to go through and learn about soil health, condition of your soil.
Okay.
They're going to plant the vegetables, learn how to care for them, grow the fruit, then they're going to bring it in and try to prepare a recipe with it at the end of the series.
Okay. So
Yes.
a lot going on this summer.
A lot going on. And then, like we said, we have Stephanie Overman. She's our SNAP.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually a full-time SNAP program
Okay.
assistant.
Yep. Mhm.
She's in all 6 schools here in the county. They're all SNAP eligible.
Which
And
being in all 6 schools, that's great.
yes, and she's extremely busy trying to
Mhm.
finish
I
her
bet.
programs up before school gets out.
Yeah.
When summer hits, she'll still be busy.
She's still busy. She's got about, not counting the schools, I think she has like 20 different partners in
Okay.
SNAP. So
Yeah.
she's full all year round.
Yeah. Well, things are hopping
Excellent.
here in Boone County.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And y'all are right here on that corridor of people coming up to Branson. I know
Yes, ma'am.
I grew up on the 65
Yeah.
corridor, and so
Yeah.
when I would tell people what town I was from, and they didn't know, I would just say, well, if you've ever taken Highway 65 to Branson, you know
Yeah.
where.
Yes, ma'am.
Probably the town you got a speeding ticket in.
Yeah, probably.
We usually tell people if you don't know where Harrison is, it's 30 minutes south of Branson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they know where that's at.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you again for letting us kind of invade your space and taking time out of your busy morning. Like you said, they've got a program this afternoon, and we're kind of holding things up a little bit. But we appreciate y'all letting us kind of learn a little bit more about all the great things y'all are doing here in
You got
Boone
a
County.
beautiful spot and a great
Yeah.
facility, and thanks for letting us take it over for a little while.
Not a problem anytime. Thank y'all.
Well, while Cody gets back to
Work.
work and helping helping his agents, we've got a legislative update.
Special guest,
Special guest. And so Jeff Weaver, good morning.
Good morning.
Jeff Weaver has been one of the busiest men in the division for these last 4 months. And you see, he's so busy, he's got to bring notes to this webinar to remember what all
He
he's
does.
done.
He does.
I do. And there's so much going on that if I didn't hit something, you'd probably get an email. Why didn't we talk about that?
Yep.
So I want to make
Probably.
sure that I cover everything I need to cover.
So, Jeff, I told you I would have your title before we started, but
Yeah.
I failed in my mission. So, would you let everybody know what your
Hang on.
official? Oh, wait.
Government Affairs and Stakeholder Development.
That's it.
There you go.
That's it.
Well, way to show me up.
That's
Thanks.
it.
I've got it written on my
So what I do is the state and federal government affairs work and the major gifts fundraising for special projects that we have on the division.
Yeah.
So lately, you've been more busy.
On the
obviously,
government affairs.
With the government affairs stuff.
Yes. That's an understatement. So we just wrapped up a regular General Assembly meeting in Little Rock. So it consisted of about 94 days, about 2,000 bills were filed.
Is that average? Or?
That's around average.
Okay.
That's around average. Out of that, we were tracking about 250 of those bills, so a little over 10%.
So when you talk about tracking, just so
Yep.
people listening know, when a sponsor drops a bill, you start keeping up with its progress through the process, through the committees,
Yeah.
through all the testimonies, through any markup it goes through, until it's finally disposed of, either passed or
That's
tabled or
right.
whatever. And you're doing that because those are bills that are particularly relevant to us
Yeah.
for some reason.
And relevant in terms of they're either going to impact higher education because we're a higher education entity, or agriculture
Okay.
and ag policy. And so those are the two main areas that I live in. Things that you may not even think of that may benefit our insurance plan, or some things that may impact the way we farm rice. So anything
Right.
in between that, I kind of keep up with. And I've got some thank yous I need to make because we had a great legislative session. Dr. Fields answered my call almost every time I called.
That's unheard of.
And I drug him to the Capitol more times than I could count for meetings and things like that. And there are things that pop up that become emergencies really quickly. So DQ was great in helping me. All the SAVPs were fantastic. I tried to keep them updated as to what was happening so that they could pass that information down the chain. Christina helped me track the bills. So yes, about a month before the session starts, members start dropping bills.
Right, yeah.
And these are ideas that they've thought about for 2 years. And now the regular session,
ready to
and
go.
they've got about 4
Yeah.
months to get it passed. So if you want to get something passed, you really need to start early.
Yeah.
And so they start early and often.
And you've got some that are more prolific than others as
Absolutely,
far as writing.
absolutely.
And by the same token, toward the end, a lot of things really get
That's
started
right,
crammed
that's
through.
right.
So you're kind of bookended with a really
Yeah.
hectic,
That's right,
hectic
that's right.
timetable.
Yep. And so Christina helped me. Diane in Dr. Field's office made sure the trains run on time. Mary was fantastic. We have a ton of experts, as everyone knows, on just about every topic known to man. And they were very willing to take my call, talk to me, talk to a legislator. Some of them even had asked to testify on particular bills. So it's super helpful. And as I learned the division, and I'm gonna hit the road and visit more extension offices, visit more research stations, so I can learn more about the minutiae of the division, because it's a vast operation.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's always something to learn.
It is. And we had some great events around that got some visibility during the session. So we had 4-H Day at the Capitol.
Oh, that
we
was
had
a big
over
one.
500 4-H'ers.
And the weather was fantastic.
If you like rain, if you like about 5 inches of rain in about a few hours, you would love it.
I was just glad we didn't have a tornado. It was
Yeah,
one
me
of those
too.
days.
If you
It
like
was.
your socks being
It
wet,
was.
oh, that
That's
makes
right.
me so crazy.
That's right. And so we had the rotunda of the Capitol was absolutely full of green. I mean, it was great.
It was.
It's a cool sight.
It was. It
And we
was.
had a lot of really important policymakers there
Absolutely.
to address the group. We had some really heavy hitters
Absolutely.
come
The Lieutenant
talk to us.
Governor was there. The Attorney General was there. Secretary of State was there. Had a great turnout. Legislators were walking through, going to meetings, and they were looking for their counties.
They were,
Yes.
yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And they were asking me, "Hey Jeff, where's this county?" I was like, "There's 75 of them. I have no idea. They're
All
everywhere."
over the place.
But yeah, it was a great event.
It was.
Great event, and we
Awesome.
appreciate the help that they gave us. Just a little more visibility for the division. It was great.
And certainly an event that really highlights the reach of extension because
Absolutely.
there's so many counties
Absolutely.
there and so many people. It's like
Yeah.
we really are everywhere.
Yep, yep.
And that
All
was a really
75
tangible
counties and-
demonstration of that.
Absolutely. And so I spend a lot of time during the session educating legislators
Yeah.
as to who we are, what we do,
Super easy job.
and how we can help them. Yeah, super
Right,
easy.
right.
And how we can help them. I mean, particularly, I spend a lot of time in the Senate and House Ag Committee. And say, hey, we've got experts on this. If you want to pass this bill next time, it failed. If you want to pass this bill,
Right.
let's talk about this. And maybe I can put you in touch with somebody who can fix this little problem that you have.
Well, and to be clear, our role there is to help them understand different alternatives and consequences,
Yeah.
not to direct their policy.
Right.
Absolutely.
We're not writing their bills
No.
or telling them what to
No.
write in the bills, but if it's a complex issue, they may not understand the full
That's right.
implications of how things could go wrong or how things could go right. And so our role is to inform them and educate them so that they can make a better bill.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're educators.
More on target for what they're trying to accomplish.
We're educators in that respect. I'm an advocate for the Division of Ag. Fearless. We don't stop, and we're trying to get reoccurring funding, and we're trying to get this program noticed and that program noticed. Playing defense a lot too, but yes, we're also trying to say, hey, I mean, maybe there's an app that can help do what you want to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be legislated necessarily, or maybe there's plenty of paid lobbyists out there for agriculture policy. I'm not
Yeah.
one of them.
Right.
Exactly.
But I worked closely with Farm Bureau, Poultry Federation, Riceland, Farm Credit, Arkansas Rice. And they all had paid people up there that they do a fantastic job for the
Yeah.
industry itself.
And I think that you highlight a lot of our value when our experts are in touch with the legislators, because we are unbiased and objective,
Yeah.
and most people they deal with aren't.
That's
and so
right.
to help them really just understand the issue, we're the best resource they've got,
That's
in my
right.
opinion.
That's right. And we've got a strong brand.
Yes.
I mean, people can look at our publications and things and say, okay, they're the university, they're unbiased, they don't have a dog in this fight, they're not trying to build this or not build this, or they're not trying to do that or that. They're just trying to give us the facts. And I think that we've got a really, really good reputation at the Capitol for that.
So you've got a few bills, because honestly, you and Dr. Anderson could talk all morning about policy stuff, but we've got a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
But we want to touch on a few bills that were specific to or legislative actions that were specific to the division, and they're going to impact us.
So part of the governor's priorities this session, one of those things was a set of bills called foreign adversary legislation. So those dealt with companies or countries mainly that are foreign adversaries to the United States. Some of those countries now own companies that provide ag products. We work closely with them. We have before they were owned by these countries. We wanted to continue to do that. But two main things I wanted to mention on foreign adversary legislation. For one, we've created endowments with these companies and have relationships with them that are long-standing. We won't be able to do that anymore. Which, okay, for the endowments that we currently have, we'll have to report those publicly online. There's a website and things like that. Not a big issue, but the other part of that foreign adversary legislation is that we've gone into agreements with before products hit market. So take chemicals, for instance. Before chemical hits market, we're able to do some research that is unique to Arkansas, using Arkansas soil, Arkansas climate, Arkansas crops, and then when that product does get FDA approval and it hits the market, we're then able to give recommendations to farmers at that point.
Right.
Under this legislation, we won't be able to do that. Okay. So we'll have to kind of figure out what we're going to do. I talked to some of the folks in weed science and other areas that will be impacted, but we're going to do our best to work around that. But that was one of the realities of the legislation.
And that's just a little point of clarification here, the kind of work you're talking about. You know, if we get pre-release chemical or seed varieties from a company, and really, for the most part, we're talking about American or European subsidiaries of Chinese parent companies that we're dealing with here. This is not a profit center for us. No. But it's nice to get cost recovery to do the work so that we can do the work without going in a hole in it. So this is not a situation where the division has made a lot of money at doing these things, but we have had agreements where we can recover some of the costs of doing this work.
And we do need some cost recovery because we do need to do the work. I mean, it's very important to farmers at the end of the day.
Very important.
So yeah, that was one thing that we worked on pretty hard during the session. We got some amendments and things included that helped a little bit, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Had a lot of sponsors on it. It was a very popular bill, or all the bills were popular, and so they were going to become law in some form or fashion. So didn't want to stop that, but yeah, it's kind of one of those things we're just going to have to live with.
Yeah.
It's just
Another one was around SNAP.
That's right. So we've got, before we go to SNAP, can we talk about Act 933 first?
Yes.
So,
a lot of interest in that.
A lot of interest out in the counties on 933. I heard from a lot of folks.
Yeah.
So 933 was a kind of a looking at funding county fairs and county fair boards and some of the continuing education that goes around that. I think there's an association for the county fair managers.
Oh, there is.
And so that was in the conversation. Our role was really one line in the bill that would have put extension agents on the county fair boards. Yes. Like it would have forced they must.
As it was written, would have required them to serve on the county fair boards as full members.
Because words matter. We talked about that.
That's right.
How it's
words
written.
do matter. Shall, must, may. All those things matter, and I'm not a lawyer, but we have a good one. Nia was very helpful. That's the shout out that I didn't give. Is Nia was fantastic during the session. But Act 933, we did get it amended to where county agents will be ex officio members of county fair boards, which is a lot better than being actual members.
So ex officio members don't vote on policy.
That's right.
And so our main concern was that our county agents not get stuck with managing the business of the board or having to insert themselves in policy issues, and an ex officio member doesn't do those things.
And funding issues.
Because
we all know that can be a contentious issue. So yeah, we'll and frankly, it doesn't change the role of many of our county agents already.
Strong advisory role.
Absolutely.
Maybe a little more formal under this mechanism, but again, I commend you for your work on that one.
Thank you.
Turned that from one that would have been really tough for our agents into one that we can live with. And,
Thank you.
and in politics, that's a big win.
It is. It is. Senator Irvin was the sponsor on that bill. If you know her, she's a very prolific bill passer.
Yes.
She can get what she wants up
She gets them
there.
done.
And I sat down with her for 2 seconds, and she understood the issue
Yeah.
completely. She made the amendment,
Yeah.
and we were off to the races. So
All right, so two, I'll let you pick that I
Okay.
want to ask you about. Recurring funding
Yep.
and then SNAP.
okay. So we didn't get the recurring funding. Dr. Fields and I met with the governor right before the session started, and we didn't make her priority list.
Okay.
And it wasn't that we didn't start early enough. It's just the fact that she had a lot of things on her agenda that she wanted to get done. She got most of those things done. But we do have kind of an agreement with her to go back to her maybe before the fiscal session to see if we can get on her priority list. But she did offer us between $4 and $5 million in one-time funds. So I'm working with our budget director now to try to figure out how we're going to access that money, how much we're going to get, and then pass that over to the leadership.
timing.
And the timing of it all, yeah.
So good news, just not quite
Absolutely
as good
news.
as what we were.
I mean,
yeah.
again, in politics,
Hey.
if you get half what you want, then you're probably
Okay,
doing pretty good.
okay.
Because I
That's
saw a
right.
lot of groups that didn't get anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very happy with that.
All right.
I think that's a win, and we're pretty excited about that opportunity.
And I think you and Dr. Fields have done a good job positioning us on the recurring funding issue for the next
Yeah,
session.
thank you. And we had some great political champions
Yes.
at the Capitol that are members of the legislature. They're on the House Ag Committee. They're on the Senate Ag Committee. They're in the Education Committee. They're in the governor's office. They're trustees of the University of Arkansas
Yes.
system. I mean, we had a great team of folks really pushing for us. So it was great.
Good. Always helps to have some folks in your
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah. What was the other thing you asked me?
SNAP.
Snap ahead.
SNAP. Okay, SNAP Ed. So
And then anything else you want to talk about, but I
Okay.
know that's what my colleagues and I across
Absolutely.
the state have questions
Absolutely.
about.
I would not leave this seat without talking about SNAP Ed. So a few weeks ago, the Ag Secretary, works for President Trump, came in, and she and the governor announced a waiver the governor was going to request to the Department of Education, requesting that SNAP Ed be moved from the State Department of Human Services leadership into the State Department of Education.
Okay.
So kind of an administrative change. In talking to the governor a little bit, seems like she wants to put some of that programming into the K through 12 schools, which we're already doing that. I'm not sure if she knows about that, but we're already doing that. And we do a fantastic job
We
of
do.
that.
Yes.
And we've done it for 30 years. And so that waiver was right now is sitting in the Department of Human Services. Public comment ended last Wednesday.
Okay.
So we're looking at the next step to move forward and see how we're going to address it. We put in, we entered some great comments.
Okay.
Yes.
A lot of our stakeholders entered
Yep.
comments.
Okay.
Let me just say, Farm Bureau just did a fantastic job.
They entered
on-
multiple comments.
They did.
On
They
our behalf.
absolutely did. And I think they reached out to their counties
Yep.
and had local folks do that
Okay.
too, which is incredibly impactful.
It
I mean,
is.
it's more impactful than doing form letters
Right.
and getting 500 of the same letter.
Yep.
I mean, if you get 200 of a unique letter that says, hey, this is how this impacted our county.
Better
or
than
our-
500 of the same. Okay,
That's right.
gotcha.
That's right.
Gotcha.
So that's where we're at, is really kind of going to learn the process moving forward. There may be a public comment period on the federal side. If there is, we're going to weigh in on that. And we're obviously going to work it on the political side
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, so that's state and some federal.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on the federal? Because we've kind of focused just on state, but you also do
Goodness.
federal stuff.
Well, in terms of the federal side, it's budget season. So along with budget season, you have a lot of news stories that come out that this committee's doing this, that the president's budget is doing this and that. I mean, I wouldn't get too bogged down in it right now.
Okay.
Dr. Fields and I met with some of the senior staff on the Senate Ag Committee,
Okay.
who, of course, Senator Bozeman is the chairman of that committee, which is great for Arkansas.
It is.
We met with them and I said, look, Congress still has to weigh in. The Senate has to weigh in on some of this stuff. Just because the House said this, or a committee said this, or the president's budget doesn't make it law yet.
Yeah.
So we're
Long way to go.
We're long way to go. Long way to go. I mean, hopefully they pass the budget. They haven't done that in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
We've been under continuing resolution for a while. So I know I'm throwing a lot out there, but
Well, and we've talked about this. One point I want to make relative to the budget process, and we've talked about this, with our congressional delegation, Arkansas is arguably better positioned going into this budget process to have representation in that process than we've maybe ever been, certainly than we've been in a long time.
absolutely, all of our members have a gavel.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Two of them are on appropriations committees, and they have
Which is
gavels,
huge.
which is huge. We have members on the Ag Committee, Financial Services, Intelligence, obviously the Senate Ag Committee Chairman, which is important. And so, we're for a small state like Arkansas, we're in a really good political situation.
Very good. And I would say, even more specific than that, the division is in a really good position with all of those offices.
I think so.
And we
I
have
think so.
good access to all those offices, and we can get our information and our perspective into those offices very expeditiously.
Absolutely. We create that relationship during budget season and before budget season, and every time in between. So I had a group of staffers here over the summer. We spent a few days. We went all the way from Northeast Arkansas to Northwest Arkansas. And so they got a windshield view of the entire state and what we do, agriculture in Arkansas, but also more importantly, what we do and how we support the industry.
And Representative Womack has recently brought some administration officials to the state.
He brought the HUD secretary in a few weeks ago, toured the Market Center of the Ozarks, which is a new facility that's opening in Springdale, partnership with the Walton Family Foundation. And I hear that he's going to bring another secretary in. So these are cabinet level folks. That's a big deal.
And we're being engaged in some of
Absolutely.
those visits
Yes.
as well,
Yes.
which is also, I think, important to point out that, that's cool, they're coming to Arkansas, but also we get to have
those offices
some time,
are
some face
engaging the
time with
division.
them.
Absolutely. We're getting an invitation. Dr. Fields is getting a seat at the table, which is vitally important.
Awesome. All right, Jeff, anything else? That's a lot. And we're actually going to do a podcast with you, record a podcast, go even more in depth. So if folks have got questions, they can send those in and we'll answer those in the podcast. But because we've only got just a finite amount of time, I think we covered a lot of ground.
I taught American national government for a few semesters. I don't think you want to hear that. But if you tune into the webinar,
We'll save that for the podcast.
tune into the webinar, you might get that.
We might have a brief lecture.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jeff. We appreciate it. So real quick, some internal updates.
Yes.
Mostly around promotion and grow and basically things that impact our salaries.
Okay, that's always important. Well, grow is a done deal at this point. Notifications have gone out. Those adjustments will take place at the beginning of the FY,
right?
July 1. The program, I think, was implemented much more smoothly this year than last year. We learned a lot in the first year.
This was only the second year.
This was only the second year. And again, I think it'll be better next year and the year after that. But we changed some things about how submissions were made that made it, I think, a more straightforward process. And certainly from an evaluator standpoint was a much more streamlined process.
Good.
That allowed us to roll the program a lot more efficiently. And over the 2 years, we've really been able to impact a lot of employees. Obviously, we always want to do more on salary. We always want to catch up more than we're able to. But over the 2 years that Grow's been in place, it really has had a meaningful impact on salary distributions in those position titles. So that's a done deal. We are doing a lot of work right now on promotion and evaluation generally, specifically for county agents.
You've got 2 committees that are doing a really heavy lift.
We have 2 working groups. One is working specifically on annual evaluations, on the evaluation instrument as well as evaluation policies and procedures. And we've got another working group working specifically to re-implement a promotion track for county agents. That's been dormant basically since Grow came in. That was always meant to be temporary to kind of give us a hard stop on a promotion process that really wasn't very effective from the feedback we were getting. And so this kind of gives us a chance to do a reset on that and get a promotion process that will be fair, transparent, effective, and that will really provide incentives and provide a framework for professional development for agents, and that's what we really want. We want them, somebody coming into a county agent position, to know that they've got a career progression that's meaningful and rewarding, and from an institutional standpoint, we want that to be recognized nationally. So that if somebody goes through our promotion track, any other state, any other extension service in the country is going to look at them and say, yes, that's a quality professional. We know what that means. We know that they understand scholarship of engagement, which is what we do,
Yeah.
and it gives us credibility on the national scale. And so all of that really is embedded in a good promotion process. So we're working on that. The evaluation team is working on an annual evaluation process that again gives fair and meaningful feedback.
And doesn't just check a box, but helps people develop
that
throughout
is
their
constructive.
career. Yes.
It gives constructive information,
Yeah.
both to managers and to staff. So those committees, I said you were there. You and Steve Sieglin did great work facilitating that committee work. And I told those committees when they started, I don't think I've ever asked more of a group of people I've
You're
worked
probably
with than I'm
right.
asking this group. This is a
It's a
big
big
job.
lift,
It's
yeah.
a very big job. We've got 9 people on each of those committees. They're working very hard, and I would say at this point they did a week-long retreat, which was a ridiculous amount of work to put in at one time.
But they did it.
They
And
did,
showed
and
up
they
and worked
stayed
hard
engaged
every day. Yeah.
through the whole thing. They're very excited because they see the meaningful impact this can have on the organization.
Absolutely.
And so I am asking a lot of them, and they came out of that retreat, I think, with what I would say we've got a really good skeleton on both of those issues. And over the next 2 or 3 months,
They're
we're
going to
do
continue.
they're going to continue to work, and we're going to work with HR and legal and put flesh on those bones. And by this fall, we'll have, I think, we'll be able to roll out what I think will be one of the better evaluation and promotion processes in the country. And we can be very proud of that.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll hear more from that
There will
or
be more
about
coming
that
on that.
as
We
as
will
that
certainly keep people
develops.
informed as appropriate.
Okay, so we're going to do some rapid fire updates because we're already over time.
Okay.
So we want to touch on these. We're hosting the Mini Land Grant Conference.
Mini Land Grant, this is
Or Mini Land Grant.
Mini
I
Land
keep
Grant.
wanting to call it, put something at the end of
They
it.
just call it Mini Land Grant,
Okay.
but it is a conference
Okay.
hosted by the Association of Public and Land Grant
Okay,
Universities. So
okay.
it's our land grant colleagues from all over the country
Okay.
are going to be coming to Arkansas June 9 through
Which
12.
is a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. This will be experiment station directors, extension directors, program leaders, other administrators from across the land grant
Right.
landscape.
Yeah.
And they'll be in Arkansas to see what we do and to look around the state a little bit. It'll be a great opportunity to highlight not only what we do as an institution, but all the nice things about Arkansas. We're obviously biased, but Arkansas is a great place
I
to
mean,
come.
I'm
look at.
definitely biased.
Definitely. So that's going on. Unfortunately, we don't control that schedule. It's scheduled right on top of District Oramas.
Yep.
So we'll have people going a lot of different directions that week. Everybody's going to be spread pretty thin.
It's a busy time of year anyway, but
It always is.
It'll be good.
Add a little bit to the hectic pace, but it'll be okay. It's a great opportunity for us.
But we're bringing on some more new people to help with that
New people,
capacity,
we-
and that includes a soil fertility specialist.
We are screening applicants for a soil fertility specialist position at NEREC.
Okay.
Now that will be the newest position at NEREC, and that'll have us pretty close to being fully staffed up in terms of faculty at NEREC. So that's an exciting thing. It looks like we've got a pretty decent candidate pool, and I'm optimistic that we'll get some good viable candidates out of that.
All right, and we just hired a new
Post-harvest processing
post-harvest
engineer.
processing
So with a bio and
person.
ag engineering background, Kaushik Luthra comes in, and he's already off to a fast start. He's got a great background in rice milling specifically, and some grain storage and farm safety kind of things that he's adding into his portfolio. And he's on the ground. He's been there a little over a month, I think, and he's on the job and going strong.
Yep, he already presented to our ag technology 4-H group a
excellent.
couple weeks ago. So yeah, he's hit the ground
Yeah.
running. Batesville Station.
Last one, I think.
Since Dr. Gadberry left, came to the state office.
Dr.
yeah.
Gadberry came to bail me out as A&R program leader, and is doing a fantastic job.
He is, yeah.
I'm happy to have him. That left his position open, and we just interviewed week before last for a new station director. Had 2 external candidates.
Okay, that's good.
2
We're
national
getting
candidates.
Yeah.
and,
Okay, gotcha.
Those are being evaluated by the committee now.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, Dr. Anderson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you again to Cody and his staff for hosting
Absolutely.
us. Thank you, Jeff, for coming and giving us a legislative update. We'll follow up with a podcast if you haven't listened to our latest podcast episodes. Kind of like the webinars, they've been a little thin in the
little
new
thin.
year, but we're gaining some momentum.
We're getting them going.
All right, thank you so much for joining us this
Yep.
morning. We hope that you have a great day.